Oh, George, ice cream time. What I've got here, well, first of all, I should say, welcome. It's really nice to meet you, Craig and Lisa. George talks about you all the time, and when he said you wanted to hear about our new ice cream maker, it's my favorite thing. I couldn't wait to talk about it. And I think it's becoming George's favorite too, because he's not going to the grocery store and buying seal test anymore. Anyway, let me just show you the finished product. We can't show it to you in sequence because it's so noisy, the machine is. But this is how creamy this ice cream comes out. This is strawberry ice cream, and George says it's the best he's ever had. And I mean, who am I to refute this? But this is a remarkable machine. It's called the Ninja Creami. We first became interested in Ninja products when we got their indoor grill. And all of a sudden we were living in a condo with no outdoor access, and we were grilling our hearts out. And I'm an inveterate YouTube watcher, and when I saw the Ninja Creami ice cream maker come on, I thought, we gotta have this, even though George wasn't convinced, but he's convinced now. Anyway, it's a revolutionary machine. It's really precision, fine engineering, and I can't run it while the camera's on. It makes a lot of noise, but it has these blades, and I'm not sure how well you can see them here because they're coated with this delicious strawberry ice cream, but they spin at, I don't know, several thousand revolutions during the process, and they cut up the ice cream into ice crystals. Now, we had a Cuisinart ice cream machine, and it used the same process of that you had to put the ice cream mixture into the freezer and freeze it for 24 hours, and then you would process it. This is the same thing, but the difference is it doesn't require a huge tub to process. So there was room in our ice cream machine, or in our freezer, because we have a tiny one, just to put this in and make delicious ice cream. And George is showing right here the ice cream unprocessed. And let me just turn this over and show you the genius of this machine. I don't know if you can see this, but these are little indentations on the bottom of this. So what you do is, to use it, you put them in this processor, and these indentations slip right into these holes. And that's how it's able to make these astronomical number of revolutions per second to spin it and spin these ice crystals into the smoothest ice cream you've ever had. It's just amazing. The beauty of it is that you don't use a lot of freezer space. The downsides of it is you gotta have it 24 hours in advance in your freezer for it to be hard enough to make real ice cream.
Tap on the existing hardened one?
Oh, yes, this is one of the hardened ones, and we're going to show you how we set it up to spin it, and also all the things the ice cream machine does.
But a few recipe secrets.
Yeah, a few recipes. Well, first of all, it comes with this Ninja Creami book. Let me say, I tried the book, and the recipes are not nearly as good as they can be if you experiment on your own. I've had the machine about 9 months, watch YouTube all the time, and there are lots of YouTubers on there talking about the Ninja Creami, but I've developed a lot of my own recipes. We particularly like fresh fruit recipes, as I know you do up there, and you've got all that delicious Ontario fruit. You can't say that about our Florida fruit. It's not as good. So what I do is I augment it, or we buy a big bag of frozen strawberries from Costco, and I augment the flavor with just freeze-dried. No, these are, well...
Trader Joe's, it says.
Oh, okay.
Oh, frozen fruit from Costco.
The frozen fruit is from Costco. The freeze-dried is from Trader Joe's or wherever you can find it. Whole Foods has some. I think you've got Whole Foods up there. And if the flavor's not strong enough, and it rarely is in Florida, then I put some of this in my mixtures. By the way, I have recipes for how much of each in the bag to make the flavor come through. The other trick is you need some sort of smoothness in the ice cream. A lot of people use corn syrup, I swear by agave, and put 1 or 2 tablespoons in both of my mixtures. And if you're wanting me to open it...
Turn it around.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is Costco agave. So it's, you know, you can find it anywhere. It's just standard agave that I'm sure your grocery stores have. But again, you could go to YouTube or just have fun experimenting on your own. I know you're ice cream makers and you know how to do it yourselves with your churn method, which makes good old-fashioned peach ice cream. I'd love some of that. But if you need new recipes, I'm doing experimental things all the time. And hit me up and I will send you some.
And if it's not creamy enough, if it comes out powdery sometimes, right?
Yeah, it does. It's very, very tricky. What I should say, the technology is both a blessing and a curse. some things it absolutely will not do, and you have epic fails. And I've had a lot of epic fails because it'll come out powdery. And it's hard to know because what you might do, say we did in our old Cuisinart ice cream maker, won't work in this because the technology is so different. And the only way you can perfect it is just to keep trying and trying and trying till you get it right. Sometimes you never get it right, but when you do, it's the best ice cream you've ever had.
And if it's too creamy, then...
Well, I'm going to show them that when I show them the machine. It's
Okay.
rarely too creamy, but if it's powdery, this is what you do. First of all, this is what's special about the machine. It has various settings. This is for regular ice cream, which is delicious. This is sorbet, which, you know, are often fruit-flavored things. I think the Bertillon that dupe that George loves was spun like a sorbet. This is for light, and light means either that you haven't used full cream or that you haven't used an actual sugar product in it. You use fake sugar. This is, let me see, I can't see, the light is on this. This is for gelato. By the way, I got this because I love gelato and thought I'd be making it, but it comes out so creamy. I've yet to take the trouble to make gelato because it tastes as good as gelato, just in the ice cream setting. There's milkshake, and there's also smoothie bowls. The milkshake, it doesn't do very well, I should warn you. If you're dreaming of a delicious milkshake, it's going to be so-so. That's what it kind of fails at.
Oh, the way I haven't experimented with it.
I experimented once, and it was so bad I didn't try again, but maybe it's worth
The
another.
mix-in, too.
Yeah, well, I'm going to show that when I show these things. Now, the genius of this is when you make ice cream, it usually sits in your freezer and it kind of gets hard and it's not as good. But this has something on here that you can see. One is called a respin. So if it comes out and is powdery, as George suggested, you just respin it. And you can spin it 2 or 3 times until it comes out creamier. The other thing you do with a respin is, if it's been sitting in your freezer and it hardens up, you put it on respin, and it's just like having brand new fresh ice cream every single day. You can reuse it, the carton again and again, or I should say the container. Every time you respin it, it's going to be fresh as the day it was born. And this is the mix-in, and what you also do is, it comes out with a hole in the center, and you pour any small candies or chips or whatever you want to put,
Nuts.
chocolate nuts, yeah, chocolate covered pretzels in here. You do have to make them pretty fine, and it will distribute them out on the mix-ins without smashing them. Yeah, but you do again have to not put huge pieces in, and you can have mix-ins, so you can have Chunky Monkey or chocolate chip or any of those things made at home. It's wonderful. It's genius.
You want to demonstrate your first mix?
We're going to have to turn the camera off as soon as it starts because it's like a freight train coming through the living room. But what you do is, you put it into this, and you make sure that it's down in the slots. It's settled down there. And then you put the top on.
Show me the blades.
Oh, here are the blades again. They don't look like much, but boy, those are really sharp, although you don't hurt yourself when you're cleaning them. By the way, speaking of cleaning, I don't like to do dishes. Every single component here is dishwasher safe. So I just throw all these pieces in the dishwasher, forget about them, and I don't have to do a thing by hand, which of course is my favorite thing about this machine, other than the taste of the ice cream. So you put this in and click it, and you seat this. And by the way, I suggest watching YouTubes for people who are more experienced and do it better than I do. So you put this in the machine, you twist it up into position, and don't forget to turn on the power button here. Okay. Let me lock it again, all right? And then you turn on the power here, as I'm doing, and that lights up. And because this is full-fat ice cream, we're going to hit the ice cream machine. There you go.
Can't see anything, but it's noisy, so we can't see.
I'm sorry, it's so noisy we can't talk over it. And it's hard to see the blades because they whirl at so many revolutions per minute. But it's making, I promise you, the best ice cream you've ever had, except for what you do up in Ontario with your delicious peaches in your home churn. You're not following me with this, are you?